Yes.
Record.
Yeah. Please start, Bhuneshwari.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. And as you are all aware, COP28 was held in Dubai from 30th November to 12th December for 2 weeks. And prior to that, we had a briefing session on what COP28 is all about. And that was by Shri R.R. Reshmi. And now today we are having this eco meeting as a sort of reporting back for sharing our experiences, the experiences of the 7 members, including the 3 office bearers. 4 persons had participated in the first week and 3 persons in the second week. Now, each one of us will be sharing our experiences. And before that, let's go into some pictures of whatever happened there. To the extent possible, we want to show, give an idea of what it's all about. I'll be sharing my screen now. Okay, is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. The first, this is the venue. Generally, this has pictures of the venue that of COP28. That was Expo City of Dubai. And this was a very vast area covering acres of land. Huge, beautiful structures were erected here, and mostly showing off the real opulence of that country. We can see the flags of all the member states, and this was completely lit up in the night. And I'll show you the next slide. Sorry. This is the next slide. If you see the map of the blue zone is where we were all at, the government delegations and the observers. This is the blue zone thing. And here we are seeing the entrance here, and our stall was here, somewhere in B6. And green zone is beyond our stall, somewhere here, over here. And this is the night view. It is really beautiful place to see, but a lot of walking. And here, this is to give an idea of how crowded, how so many participants were there. I think it was, we have read, it was a record show of participants. Over 108,000 participants were there. We were told initially 70,000 or 80,000, but it has far exceeded it. The number of observers had also doubled. And this is the photograph of the crowd alighting from the Expo 20 metro station. The whole metro was full of people, delegations for the COP20. If you see this, this is the crowd where we were, and this is a photograph. And it took 2 to 3 hours sometimes to reach the main entrance, whereas it was just 15 minutes walk from the metro station. And here you can see the zigzag line forming and all that. And even for the registration also, it took 2 to 3 hours in the COP for in the first 2 persons, like Ushaji and Ashaji had to stand there for 2 to 3 hours. I arrived late, so I got it fast. Here, this is the exhibition stall that we had shared with Infose and 3 others, but only Infose posters were there, and Infose material and our posters were there in the thing. This was at the corner of the B6, and therefore a lot of people were attracted to this stall. And we had played, this is a photograph of Infose persons also, Gunnar and Judith, and Ushaji showing the Roshni journal. These are the photographs. And next, here, I wanted to show you background, in the background, we have the TV screen where all our presentations made by Kalyani Raji and Usha ji and many others in the past, we had converted it into the video and shown. That's the background I wanted to show. And here are the three posters which we had prepared. So there was a huge flow of visitors, very important people also. And three posters were there. Okay, 1 minute. Next slide. Here is some photographs of VIPs whom we met or were there. We could take photographs and all that. The Prime Minister arriving, we were fortunate enough to be there at that particular time. So we could welcome him that way just before the meeting hall. And this is the Environment Minister walking towards a meeting hall. And this is Honorable MP Anbumani Ramadas, who was the health minister earlier, former health minister. He visited our stall and quite some time he spoke, and several others had come. This is with the head of delegation, Upasana ji was there, and Yusuf Ali, the tycoon, business tycoon, and Sadhguru, the founder. And here, this is the a slide showing the Gender Just Climate Solutions Award. There were 3 awards for technical, non-technical, and transformational. All these 3 were won by Bangladesh, Kenya, and Pakistan. So all these videos were shown. They were very interesting work that they were doing. And now here is the photograph of us all in the collage showing the release of the journal. We had one article, as every year we have one article, AWC. This year, this was an article sent by me on safe wages. It was really proud to be there to see the release. Sorry. Here, this is the Women and Gender Constituency. We are a part of, AWC is a part of the Women and Gender Constituency. And this is, they have a pavilion where we can conduct events, we can hold events, discuss and all that. And here, we did not, in the first week, there was no event. In the second week, Kalyani ji had an event, and she'll be talking about that in detail. And that is a photograph. And there were 2 interviews during that period of first week. One was by the Abu Dhabi National TV, and there was an interview by Monte Carlo Press. These are the photographs from that. And the audio was not clear. One of the audios had our voice was not clear. That's why otherwise we would have put the audio over here. Just let me go back to one here. This event, I forgot to mention, this event was co-hosted by us, the GJCS award. This event was co-hosted by us, and Madam Manju Kaka, our Secretary General, had spoken at this function, and the video clipping I had already posted in the group. So next, there's a daily caucus meeting which happens at 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning, and of the Women and Gender Constituency. These are some photographs from that. And one of the sessions was chaired by Srimati Kalyani Raj, our president. And here, this is a photograph of that. And she'll be talking more about that. Next, there were some side events which we had participated in both the weeks. One is Solar Cooker International, the meeting that Kalyani Raj Madam and others had. And here is at the Indian Pavilion, all 3 office bearers. And there was an event of the Global Carbon Council that was there. And there was another side event on Leia. by Leah on locally developed choices for NDCs. These are the few. There were several others, but due to paucity of time or space here, I'm not going on to that. See, outside the blue zone, there is a green zone where all can participate. Everybody can participate. These are ticketed thing. I think they have passes for that you can buy, and that is one of the stalls. We had visited the Knowledge Hub, and in that we saw this green stall of the global bio fuel thing. This was launched during the G20 by our Prime Minister, and these are some photographs. There was a screen going on with all leaders speaking. Our Prime Minister Modi's pictures were coming. There were three of the writings. So we took all those photographs, and these are the ones. And Indian Oil 2G ethanol plant, there was that was also depicted there. And here, this was a very interesting thing in the green zone that they had created an organic kitchen garden. This is created specifically for the COP28. It was written over there. And this is really beautiful. And this one is millet. We were really fascinated by the millet grains we could see on the plant, ear of the millet and all that. So we were really fascinated by that. And at every place they had written some things, like carbon storing soil. That's just an example I have written. And how organic farming helps in climate change mitigation. And so that is what was attracted us. And this now here's my last slide. It says this is at the end of the week one. Actually, we were really, frankly, really all of us were sad to take off those posters from this empty board, and then we had to discontinue the TV. We all became a bit sentimental about it all, and this is a indicative photograph. Yeah, how COP28 would have looked after all of us left. This was taken during the first week, but just an indicative. Thank you all for listening. Thank you very much. This was to give a general impression on how the event was all about. Thank you very much. Now, I would request, first of all, our President, Kalyani Raji, to kindly give her presidential remarks and sharing experience. Kalyani ji?
Yeah. Thank you, Bhuvneshwari. That was very, this thing compiled. You compiled it very well. You have shown all the photographs, and you have really given a very nice guided tour of the COP venue to everyone who was not there. Thank you very much for that. So good afternoon, everybody. And so let me first, can you make me co-host? I just wanted to share a few slides.
You can share. You don't have to be co-host. Any participant.
Okay, right. All right, right. Okay. So because I just thought I'll, for the people who are new to the process, I'll just explain a little bit about what is COP and, what is the whole process about. Right. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Right. So I'll just start with what is COP. Of course, most of you know, but let me just tell you, this is the formal meeting of UNFCCC, which is United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. And so the full COP means Conference of Parties, which is the governing body for the international conventions. And parties, actually, when they say parties, it means the governments. So each government, it is the conference of all the 198 governments who are participating in the UNFCCC process, and that's why it's called Conference of Parties. And this COP is held every year, they discuss basically what is the progress in dealing with the climate change. And sorry, oh, sorry. The history, how it started, the COP is in 92, Earth Summit in Rio. I think from here, Usha, if I'm not wrong, I think Lalita ji attended that, right?
Yes.
92 summit. Yeah.
Yes.
So 92, there was the big summit, Earth Summit in Rio, Brazil, where they discussed the three main issues which was affecting the planet. One is desertification, biodiversity loss, and climate change. So these three were the most important things they thought, which is disturbing the environment and which is needs addressing for sustainable development. So that's why they formed in 1995. All the countries came together, and the first COP, Climate Change Conference of Parties, was held in 95, which was focusing on the climate change. And they accepted after 2 years the Kyoto Protocol, which many of you would have heard about, and which Kyoto Protocol became legally binding on all the developing countries for reduction of emission. I'm just going very, basic details. And so the Kyoto Protocol had two periods. First period started from 2008 to 2012, because by that time, the developed countries were supposed to reduce their emission to some extent. And the second commitment period began from 1st January 2013 to 2020, it ended. And by that time, the developed countries were supposed to reduce their emission again to certain extent. Now, I'm saying developed countries because when we are including all the Western countries, Europe, US, and all the developed countries under that. And the reason behind that is called common but differentiated responsibilities. Why we are saying that is because after the Industrial Revolution, the maximum development happened in the Western countries, and the maximum emission was also caused by the developed countries. हम लोग जो India, China, and all the other Asian countries, many of the other, we were not causing the emission to the extent the developed countries had already caused. The damage was already done. And so that is why it fell upon them to reduce their emission. After that, in 2015, Paris Agreement was adopted, and in which the developing countries have also been asked to reduce their emission level in their proportion of what they are doing. But then now in the Paris Agreement, it has not become a mandatory thing, it has become a voluntary thing, which for me, I would say is not correct, because it should be mandatory only then they are reducing, but now it has been made voluntary. Now, constituencies of UNFCCC, there are 9 constituencies, and NGOs, which is all the environmental NGOs, farmers, indigenous, local government, research. And as Bhuvneshwari said, we are part of this women and gender constituency. And we got affiliation under all the observer, any organization which wants to become an observer organization under UNFCCC has to apply under one of the constituency. They have to get the observer status. And I think when Beenaji was president, Usha, I think, worked on that, and we got the affiliation done at that time, 2013, right, Usha?
Yes.
Yeah. So 2013, we got our independent observer status. And before that, we were attending, as Usha mentioned yesterday, we were doing it either through Infosys or through some other affiliated organization, because only the participation is possible only through any affiliated organization. So we got our affiliation done in 2013, and we are coming under Women and Gender Constituency. This is the basic structure of UNFCCC. So this is what I wanted to say. And now, what my personal experience in this COP, I have been following little bit. What happens during COP is there are different aspects of climate change which is being discussed, like mitigation, adaptation, technology transfer, and gender aspect, and there are other market mechanisms. There are many things, but we follow mainly on gender. And also we do, I have been attending a lot of events relating to adaptation and mitigation, because we are also doing work in that field, mitigation and adaptation work. So we attend a lot of, events related to that. Plus also, what we did was, I think in this COP particularly, we did one Solar Alliance, I think, which Bhuvaneshwari showed the slide. We attended one of their meetings, and we had attended one of their events as well as we had a meeting with them, and in which they said that they are willing to sort of train our women in solar cooker, low cost solar cooker preparation. So maybe they will write to us later and we can work on that. We also had one event, as Bhuvaneshwari showed the slide, with one organization called Seastone Foundation. They were, I think, one of the awardees last year, and they are also working in Kerala with a lot of women in Karnataka and Kerala. They are doing a lot of work with women. So we did one event with them in that Women and Gender constituency where we showcased all our work. We spoke about all those work we have done in the in the posters. Plus, we also spoke about other works like Raiganj. We did one agriculture laborers we did the training. So those all those things we spoke about. And in fact, it was quite good because later on, a lot of people came and said that we never knew that so many small micro level solutions can be, taken up by the woman and at the small level. So that was quite an impressive. It was very participatory event, and there were a lot of questions and answers, and we really had a good discussion point in that. We were also supposed to do one more event in Infosec ke saath mein. That was towards the end, but because participation in the COP had reduced and there were not many people, and the venue we got was on the second floor corner in that climate hub, so we didn't do that event. Otherwise, because we wouldn't have had any participation, so we didn't do. But as Bhuvaneshwari said, every day morning we have a women's caucus, which is very good for information in the sense because all the members from the Women and Gender constituency, whichever aspect they are following, adaptation, mitigation, Article 6 or whatever they are following, they come and talk about those aspects in the morning caucus. So even for people like us who have not attended, it gives us an idea of what has happened in that particular field. So then we get information on those. So those caucuses is very useful, and we always make it a point to attend. And because I am one of the facilitative committee member of Women and Gender constituency, one of the days I also chaired the caucus, and it was quite good. That was a good experience. We also attended, I think, Vijayalakshmi, and we attended one of the events on disaster resilience, in which one professor, Mr. Rao from IIT Delhi had participated. He was one of the panelists. And so they were mainly talking about, the disasters which is happening. Aajkal bahut zyada ho rahe hain, but how much are they linked to the natural disaster? Are they natural disaster or man-made? And if it is climate-induced disaster or otherwise. So they were talking how more research has to be done. And in fact, I spoke also in that. I said that yes, more research has to be done because some of the disasters are man-made, but there are a lot more which are climate-induced, and we need to do awareness on that. And so if we have research material on that, it would be helpful. And so that was a very good intervention and good event also. And also we had an event in India Pavilion about one scheme which India is promoting a lot, LIFE. So Bhupender Yadav, the minister, was there, and then this time, there was good participation from Indian youth delegates. UNICEF had taken them. And so the youth members, they spoke about their things which they are doing, and some of them are very good. And in fact, I do plan to get in touch with them and then get some ideas of how we can bring that also into our AIWC work. One boy was from Bangalore, and he is coming up with some agriculture, that adaptation work. So these are really good things which we can sort of include in our work. They will get the details and circulate. And I think Infosec also had one more event on 9th, which I attended. That was good. I think more than anything, the COP gives us very good scope for networking and showcasing our work. When we talk to the other civil service societies or NGOs, we always talk about our work. We learn from them what they are doing. And then we feel, yes, we can also do it accordingly. So that way, COP is a real good experience. For me, it has been now, I think now from 2012 I started. So now it's the 10th COP, except of course during COVID, I didn't attend 2 of them. So it's been a really good experience. And thanks to AIWC for providing this forum to us. And it's been a great experience. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bhuvaneshwari.
Thank you, ma'am. That was really nice. A lot of things seem to have been done in the second week. That is very nice to know. And next, as per protocol, I would have loved to call Madam Manjuka, but she had, ma'am, now you will like to speak now or later?
Be happy to speak because later I'll be in the car going home.
Okay, since you had told that you'll speak later,
Yeah.
that's why.
Because of the traffic, I was thinking that, but I didn't go. I stayed here. So I
Okay.
asked you because I thought by then I'll reach home. Okay.
Sure. Ma'am, thank you.
Because sometimes I lose connection in the car. Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. I should thank, first of all, the patrons who gave us permission to attend COP and who facilitated us to attend COP. This is my second COP. The first COP I went to was in Madrid, and this was much larger and it was on a gigantic scale almost. So, navigating and finding what you were interested in, if you hadn't done your homework, was a real problem. So it was something I recommend that next time people should actually do their homework, what they want to attend. Otherwise, as I said, finding the places is not easy. The things that I found interesting was the Google exhibition on water. It was an outstanding exhibition mounted by the Google company, which actually took these aerial photographs and images of all the water bodies in the world and how they were being used and where the shortage lay. It was a high-tech media interactive exhibition in a huge domed building. And in a nutshell, within, let's say, 20 minutes, it explained to you the status of the water in the world, the future of the water in the world, and what would happen to it. The second thing I found interesting was this time there were a lot of money people in this COP. The financiers, the bankers, the people managing funds and trusts. And they even talked about a mutual fund, which was a climate fund, about floating that, and how the banks, like our Reserve Bank, how the international banks would create climate funds with carbon credits and other tradable commodities, like we have cryptocurrency this year, now. So I found that extremely interesting, was how they were going to monetize the whole climate finance. I found climate finance the most interesting because finally, if there were 70,000 people, at least 35,000 of them were people from banks and financial institutions, because the as Kalyani has told you, there are 4 or 5 things. There's adaptation, there's mitigation, there is climate finance, there's climate action. So in climate finance, what was discussed was how are we going to raise $100 billion for the lost, the what is it called, the loss and damage fund. For us as NGOs and us as Indians, the loss and damage fund is very important, because this is how these countries who have polluted the world, and by using cheap labor from Bangladesh, from India, from Nepal, from Indonesia, and therefore used our pollution so that they can remain pollution free and get cheap rates, how are they going to compensate us if they tell us, now don't use coal, now don't use fossil fuel, now don't use outdated technologies? They are not ready to give us new technologies because they are putting a very high price tag to those technologies. And if we are going to give away the old technologies, then how are we going to produce and feed our population? So that was a big problem. So they have promised $100 billion for that. But so far, we have raised only $700 million for that. There were 2 speakers who were very stunning. One was Al Gore. The other was King Charles. I found both their presentations very interesting. The UN Secretary General Guterres also was extremely interesting, but he was laying out the problems. It was Al Gore who, in a website called traces.in, is actually telling you the solutions to this problem and whether you can actually reduce carbon emissions to 1.5 till 2030, what you're going to do till 2050, what you're going to do till 2070. So these were the aspects that I found extremely interesting. and I heard these various talks. Of course, we were there for the gender. And as Kalyani has just told you, gender is a very important part of the whole thing, the 9 observer groups. And we are there to see that at the grassroots, all these small initiatives take place. And we can actually bring consciousness to women of how to, improve climate, the situation climate. So these are my few impressions of the COP. I'm trying to read up about India's stand following the results. As soon as I have found out what it is, I will be sending out a small bulletin to all of you for your general information. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Really interesting perspective. And may I now request Upasana ji? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhuvneshwari, for giving me this chance to share my experience of COP. And first of all, I would like to thank All India Women Conference and our team for giving me this opportunity to be a part of COP28. And this was my first ever, COP, which I attended for the first time. So I went there like a student, and I really think that it was my privilege that I went with our very, very hardworking and very popular President Kalyani Raj at COP28. So I came to learn so many things there. And I would like to share my personal experiences there, what I saw and what I felt, because the overall team by President and our Secretary General, when we went there, and I felt so proud, so proud. I was filled with a feeling of pride by seeing that everybody, almost everybody in the Kalyani Raj, and they greeted her and they hugged her. So I was so happy that IWC had such a good name and place at COP28. So it filled me with a feeling of pride. As you can understand, new student comes to a class with a guardian or something, and by seeing her,
I think there's a network problem.
am I audible?
No, now
Yeah.
you have come back.
Yeah.
Between the
Sorry.
problem.
Yeah. So the thing is, I felt so happy and I was so touched by her persona there, that AIWC has worked so hard for many years and has become a known face there. So this is one thing, first of all, I would like to share, because this is what I felt there, and I thought it is very important to tell everybody about this. And after that, we attended every day the morning caucus, and one of the session was chaired by our President Kalyani Raj, and almost every day there they shared their views on all the topics which were going on there. And then we decided where to go. For the first 1 or 2 days we were just moving together, and after some time, we all of us, Vijay Lakshmi and Kalyani ji and I myself, all of three attended different programs there. The different programs were going on there. And when we were going there, this is my personal experience, and I am not feeling like, not to mention it here, one person from Pakistan, he came and he recognized Kalyani Rajji there. He was the awardee last year, and he brought out a uttariya. You can say it's a shawl, and he gifted that shawl to Kalyani Rajji. And you can imagine the feeling of happiness and acknowledgement that I felt there. We are having a person who is so popular and who has, earned a name there. We must join hands and do something like that in her guidance to take it further. After that, we met, in Force people, and she who can change climate. There is a program going on there. It is an international thing which is going on there. So I went there and I participated in that also. And there were many other programs. One of it was spiritual healing. Spiritual healing program was there. So I was there and I attended it. But for me, the highlight of the whole COP28 as a person was meeting Mary Robinson in person and listening to her. What a amazing personality she is. And she motivated all the women there, because we were all the time we were together, and we were connected only on women issues. The women who are bringing change in climate, there were many other programs were also going on, marches were also going on, and some of the protest kind of a thing was also going on to stop fossil fuel completely and all. But these are my personal experiences, which I just wanted to share, because I know that our gracious president, she will not share these things. And I just wanted to bring it to the knowledge of all our members, that we are very proud of her, and we are very proud of her vision there. And we look forward to follow her footsteps, and we do something. So I just leave it there.
Thank you, Upasana ji. Thank you so much for that. That is very nice to hear all this. And you really feel good when your president or your organization is recognized. It's like your organization is being recognized.
Yes, we are on the right path.
Yeah, correct. That is a real thing. That's very nice. And may I now request Usha ji to share her experiences. Srimati Usha Nair, please.
Thank you, Bhuneshwari. It is very interesting to listen to the experiences of all the other participants who were there at COP28. For me also, as Kalyani had also mentioned, I've been attending since 2011, and this was my 9th COP. I had missed 3 in between during the COVID period. So you may be aware, other members may be aware that we get very few slots for nominating people. This time, actually, initially we got only 1 slot, which meant that only 1 person could attend for 2 weeks, or 2 people could go 1 week each. But that was very little, and I think then Kalyani Raj got in touch with UNFCCC, and we managed to get it increased to 3, which meant 3 people could attend for 2 weeks. But then the point is that we must get as many interested members to attend as possible. So it was made into 1 week participation for each member. And since I am on the steering committee of Gender CC, I requested them to nominate me from Gender CC, so that slot could be used by somebody else. So in all, 6 nominees were there from AWC, and I was there as a nominee of Gender CC. So 7 people could attend, which I think was a record number. In the past COPs, we have not attended, so many of us have not attended, which was a very good point. Right from the beginning, this COP was had a lot of controversies. First of all, the controversy was why an oil-producing nation is being allowed to host a COP. Because the major fight there is to end fossil fuels. And a country which is surviving on fossil fuels was hosting this COP, and the president of the COP was the head of the largest oil corporation of that country. So there was a lot of protest. Many civil society organizations was protested, but then the president designated that time, he came up with the explanation that no, we are not focusing only on fossil fuel. We are also trying to transition to sustainable energy sources. And he gave that we are very resilient people. That is what he said. He said we are very resilient people. Earlier, all our wealth came from pearls. They were harvesting pearls from the sea around them, and all the money came from pearls. But then around the Second World War, Japan developed the technology of developing artificial pearls, and suddenly the pearls market collapsed, and they were left with very little money. And that is when they started taking out the oil, which they were very rich in. And again, they build up their nation from the money from oil. So he was saying that now we will slowly stop relying on oil, and we will be transitioning to other forms of energy, and also for sustainable methods of production and consumption. So that was the explanation he gave, but many NGOs were not fully convinced about this, and several of them stayed away, especially from Europe. Many NGOs stayed away for this very reason. So when we reached there, we were expecting that maybe this COP may not be so crowded. Earlier COPs we attended had attendance of 20,000, 30,000. So maybe for 40 or 50, but then we were really astounded to see that this COP had an attendance of, so they claim, 108,000 people. So you can imagine the huge crowds that were there. And Bhuneshwari has already shown you the crowds that were milling at the metro station, in the queues to get into the venue, and in the queues to get registration done. And it happened to be a very large area, huge area, and everything was scattered in different corners. So we had the challenge of walking miles and miles to get anywhere. And personally, for me, I feel that logistics wise, this was the worst COP that I have attended. In all other COPs, the rooms where we had the negotiations, the rooms where we had the side events, the exhibition, everything was close by, and it was easy to go from one place to another, attend as many events as possible, attend to our own exhibition stall, and then walk around and meet the other exhibition stall people. And it was a very jovial atmosphere in those days. But here we found that everything was very, very far away. The negotiating rooms were all at the entrance of the venue, whereas the side events were all tucked away in different buildings, sometimes on the first floor, sometimes on the second floor, and barely visible from the outside. And to top it all, the exhibition stalls were just lined on both sides of the road. We were thrown out into the open. Whereas earlier we were always in an enclosed area, and the stalls were arranged in rows so that we could see all the other stalls. We could walk around, see the other stalls, meet other people, make friends. But this time it was next to impossible. It was very, very difficult even to meet friends. But it was a very pleasant experience for me that, as I said, I was attending after 3 years. And so many times people came to me and said, "We are so happy to see you back. We missed you during the last 3 years. Why didn't you come?" But it was very rare because we didn't have a chance of running into each other very frequently in this venue. That was one thing that I wanted to point out. And then the other challenge was, earlier when we got our observer status, I think there were only about 1,800 NGOs who had observer status. But now in this COP, I think the figure has touched about 4,000. So you can imagine the large number of people who were there as observers. And that also was a challenge to build networks, meet people, because there were too many organizations there and too many people around. So it was very difficult. And also keeping in mind the challenges of the distances and the venue to build up new relationships or new networks. But somehow we managed, and it was a good thing that our exhibition stall was stall number 1, which meant that we were right at the beginning of the row. And so, as you know, when we go for an exhibition or for anything else, in the first stall, we are all very energetic, very enthusiastic. We listen to everything, we see everything. But as we pass by the stalls and as the number of stalls increases, we lose interest, and then we just sort of indifferently walk through the stalls, and we don't really absorb too much. But in our case, since we were stall number 1, we had many visitors, and everybody took interest in what we were showing. We had our posters on one side, on Infosay posters on the other side. So from our side, Bhuneshwari was there, and from the other side, Judith was there, and both of them did a very good job of talking to people, telling them about our work and about what we are doing in climate change. And as Bhuneshwari has already shown, we had a screen in the background where we could project our work very effectively, because Infosay didn't have a display. All the time, it was only our videos that were running on that screen. And that also was a very interesting thing, because many people stopped to watch the videos and understand our work and also ask many questions. So this was a good thing about this COP. And then about, I think I'll just show you a few photographs just to show what we did. Let me start sharing my screen. This is nothing very comprehensive, and I just did it in a hurry. So it may not be that good, but still I would, I want you to just yes. So I'll start again. Sorry for that.
It was coming. The pictures were
It was
coming.
coming, but then, you
Yeah,
know, I start from the beginning.
Okay.
So these are just some shots of what we did there and what we saw there. This has, can you see the screen?
Yeah, not full screen.
Yeah, that is the slideshow hasn't started, isn't it?
Yeah, correct.
No, I'm not able to put it on slideshow, so I'll just try. 1 minute, let me try. Yeah. So this was our stall. You can see our posters in the, can you see it?
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah, so all 4 of us with Gunnar and Judith from Infosay. As Bhuneshwari had mentioned, the stall was allotted to 5 organizations, but the other 3 didn't come. So we had only Infosay and AWC in the stall. This was our side event. In every COP, we have an exhibition stall plus a side event. This time, and for the past few years, we have been having a side event. We are sponsoring actually as a side event the Gender Just Solutions Award function. So this time also that award function was hosted by us, and our Secretary General, Dr. Manju Kak, was asked to say a few words at the beginning of the function. Then the morning caucus, every morning, the Women and Gender constituency, as also all the other constituencies. All constituencies have a morning meeting where they meet and discuss strategies as well as what are the developments over the past day and what are the things happening that day. So Kalyani chaired one of the sessions in the second week. And you can see the crowd of people, not only women, men also come to see what is happening in our caucus meeting. So this was one of the caucus meetings. And then at the stall, at the caucus itself, we meet very interesting people. These are the one on the right is Summer from Palestine. And one on the left is Fatima from Sudan. And they were sharing their stories, which really bring tears to your eyes. That is the terrible state of affairs in their respective countries. So not only these people, we meet many such people there where we are able to share our stories, listen to their stories and show our empathy. So this is another interesting aspect of attending the caucus, and also at the exhibition stall. Several people come by and they tell us about their work and we tell them about their work. So it's a very enriching experience. Then we learn about projects that other people are doing. This many of you may have seen in the last webinar where we had Infosys, Mr. Gunnar speaking to us. This is a model eco-village project that they have done. So like this, there are several projects that are featured there, and we learn from each of them. And we also see which we can copy in our places, and they also come to see which are our projects. They try to take from us whatever knowledge we can offer. And in fact, the Save Veggies project that our Calicut branch did last year, and which was featured in the Gender Just Solutions Award publication this year, the inspiration came from a project that that had applied for the Gender Just Solutions Award last year. I was on the jury last year as well as this year, and that was a project from Nepal where they had, in the crowded Kathmandu, they had done a project for growing organic vegetables. So when I saw that, then in such a crowded place where there is hardly any place to grow vegetables, how they were doing this, just a band of women were doing this. So that then I mentioned it when we had a webinar in North Kerala branches where we discussed which are the projects that we could possibly do. I mentioned this, and Subarna, that is our Calicut branch, immediately grabbed the opportunities and they started doing this project. So like that, we get a lot of inspiration from the people at the COP, from the exhibition stalls at the COP, from the side events. There were also opportunities for interviews. This was an interview that they interviewed me on Abu Dhabi National TV. This was a live interview, but it was more focused on what do you expect from this COP, and what is your participation in this COP, and what are the challenges that you face. So though of course in the introduction I could say something about AWC and the work that we have been doing and our long association with COP, then there were several others who came by our exhibition stall, and they were informally interviewing us and recording us, and many research students came. They wanted to know about our work. So that again, it was a very good chance for us to project the work of AWC. But not all serious work. We also got time to take some time off. Asha ji and myself, we went on a desert safari, and we saw some fire dance and belly dance. This was just on the last day when we could grab some time. We just rushed off and did a very little bit of sightseeing also. So these are just a few glimpses of what we were doing there. Then coming to the conclusions of the COP, as I mentioned in yesterday's webinar, Mr. Gunnar of Infosys has made a very good summarization of the COP decisions and developments. So, you know, every time we go, we learn a lot of new words, new terms. So just some of the terms I will mention here so that when you also read newspaper reports or you hear people talking, you will understand just what is meant by these terms. So one of the things in this decision is that if the countries agreed to transition away from fossil fuels in a just and equitable manner. So in the last COP, the language was that phasing out of fossil fuels, that was the proposed language, which meant that we had to stop using fossil fuels. But many countries, India was the leader, in fact, who argued that it is not easy to phase out fossil fuels. So the language was changed to phasing down use of fossil fuel. And this time it has been further changed to transitioning away from fossil fuels, which many people felt that it was a compromise. I mean, it is slowing down the phasing out of fossil fuels because transitioning means you can slowly change and stop using fossil fuels. So there was argument that all the rich oil countries had influenced the decision, and the language was made as transitioning away, and then a just and equitable manner. So just means it must be just to all concerned. For example, if you take the oil sector or the coal sector, when you move away from coal or away from oil, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Those who are working in the oil fields, those who are working in the coal mines, they will lose their jobs. So this decision is not just for them. I mean, it does not do justice to them. So to ensure a just transition, what we have to do is you get them that they get this transitioning is done in such a way that they don't lose their livelihoods. So you prepare them for new livelihoods. For example, from the coal fields, you can train them to be solar technicians or solar manufacturers. Or so the transition has to be just and equitable. Equitable in the sense everybody must get same opportunities. Not it is different from equality. Equality means you are just giving everybody the same platform and expecting them to do in the same way. But it is not so. There are people who are handicapped, who have several challenges. So if you give a level play field, that is not going to help them, because the stronger person, the persons with their privileges, they are going to overtake them. So we must make enough allowance for those who are having the disadvantages and or handicaps, and design transitions that are just to all people. Then some decisions that are going to help us also. One is they decided that renewable energy capacity will be tripled, which means that we can continue our work of popularizing renewable energy many times more, because now that is going to be a very major area. And another one is double the implementation of energy efficiency steps. So energy efficiency is again an area where AWC has been doing a lot of work. So we can advance our work in that field also. And as we discussed in the Infose webinar the other day, sustainable lifestyles, that is coming in more and more into focus, as Kalyani also mentioned just now. Lifestyle change is going to be a very major component of climate action in the coming years. So we have to design programs that will go according to this, and we have to see how we can make use of this opportunity. Then the other thing is many of the NGOs, including Infose, they were talking about false solutions. So what are false solutions? False solutions are those which are projected as solutions for climate change, but they don't take into account the causes for climate change. Instead of focusing on fossil fuels or other reasons for climate change, they try to suggest methods by which you can reduce carbon in the atmosphere, or you can reduce emissions or reduce warming. So they are classified as false solutions, and they call it dangerous distractions. So one example is solar geoengineering. It is a new term for many of you, I'm sure, but we are going to hear this again and again in the coming years. solar geoengineering is they try to reduce the temperature of the atmosphere through engineering the atmosphere itself. One is they try to seed the clouds so that the heat is reflected back into space instead of coming into Earth. And then another method they say is there are technologies to capture the carbon that is already in the atmosphere, and then they are going to just pump it deep into the Earth, because that itself sounds very dangerous to us, to common people. We don't have much knowledge about these technologies. But when you think of pumping something that is not good for us deep into the Earth, aren't we harming the Earth? Are we not spoiling Earth further? That these are the doubts that come to our mind with our limited knowledge. But then huge technologically educated NGOs are coming out and they are fighting against such methods of reducing carbon and reducing global warming. Like this, there are many new terms that we learn when we go for these COP sessions. So I think I'll wind up there because I have already taken too much time. And I'm sure that I hope that more members from our AWC will start taking interest in climate change, and you take a chance of attending COPs, meet other people, meet other NGOs, and meet women from across the world, and learn from them, and also tell them about our experiences. It will be a great day when more and more members from AWC are nominated to attend such conferences, and they come back enriched with knowledge and the capacity to do more work for AWC. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ushaji. That was very interesting. Actually, you have told not only the positives, the problems that we faced, which was really factual, the miles and miles and miles that we had to walk, and the difficulty that we had to find, and which really did a lot of harm to us, because we could not, there were 3 sessions which we wanted to attend, and we went on and on and on searching for the rooms, but we could not find. So that was the logistics part of it. Thank you for explaining that. That explains a lot of our problems. And of course, what the conclusion of the COP28, the real negotiations, and what the takeaway are from that. Thank you so much. And I would like to say here, like Upasana ji said, where in the second week we had Kalyani ji, who was being recognized, and people were very happy to meet. In the first week, we were fortunate, myself and Asha ji were fortunate, and Madam Manjuka also was there with us. She would have also seen. Usha ji has been attending for such a long time, and many people knew, and she was just like a guiding star for all of us. She was guiding us, and she was, the thing is, the selfless way in which she tells us. She doesn't like to take credit, won't talk about herself and all that, but she was putting us forward to meet people and everything. That was real help for all of us to, and it was really nice. I would like to say that, especially here. And next, Asha ji, who was also with us this time. Asha ji, I would like to request you to share your experience.
Actually, Bhuneshwari, I am not prepared for that, but still, I can say something on this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. See, before 10, 12 years, Lalita ji was there and I was the treasurer. That time I could go with Lalita ji, and one function where she was awarded in Terry, I was there with her. So I was just having knowledge. What is the 1% we can say? And I was just wondering, what is this? How these people are working? Why these changes are needed, or something like that. And then afterwards, I forgot. I just, then afterwards, Usha and Kalyani, when they were going for this, so I was so anxious about that what is going on in there. And after that, we got so many programs from them, and then this social climate change are going on as a very much important topic in the all the countries. And then now I was just interested in going there, so I requested Kalyani, and it was fortunate that they have selected my name. And though I'm not at all worked in that particular field, but still I could get a chance to go for COP28. My first experience in COP28. So whatever the people who have attended, they already told that it's a vast city and everything. And on the very first day, because previously I started my journey at 12:30 in the night, and I went to Dubai on the next day at 10:30, and again putting my luggage in the hotel, and immediately I went to venue. When I went to venue, I was just standing in the queue, and after 3.5 hours, I could get my registration. I was so exhausted that no energy was with me. Nothing I have taken, as a food or something. Came back to hotel, and then when Bhuvaneshwari joined me, I was very happy. We both went there. And because it was late, Bhuvaneshwari could get immediate registration. So it was nice that we were together. Then we met to Usha, and our journey started with COP28. So in this particular thing, what I have observed that what are the topics for total overall? What are the topics which we are discussing in this particular COP28? They were, that is, adoption and resilience, capacity of building, climate finance, climate technology, cooperative activities and SDGs, education and youth gender, then global stocks tech, innovation, land use, local communities and indigenous people platform, market and non-market mechanism. There are so many such topics were discussed in the COP28. That what is my observation is anything which is happening in the world, the first thing will happen to the women and the children, and they are the sufferers. In this particular 7 days, what I observed is most of the people from Africa came there because they were having so much problems regarding the climate change and all. And when we have attended one session, in that particular session, the South Africa lady has told about the position of their situation, that is the flood, and then the flood and the resources and the women. She said that so many people have lost their families, so many people have lost their everything, and it was such a disaster in their country. So after that, whatever the Usha said regarding the fuel and all, but in their country, in South Africa, the coal, auto, and the agri, these are the 3 areas where maximum people get the what we can call jobs. So whatever she explained regarding the coal, she explained that 80,000 direct jobs in mining, then 10,000 jobs in power stations, 75% jobs in many direct or on a stream and the downstream linkages. Then in case of automobile industries, she said 10,000 jobs in manufacturing, and mainly that is the Tushwana, something like that. I don't exactly can pronounce the name. Then 2 lakhs and 50 lakhs were petrol states and all these things. Then in agriculture, she said 8 lakhs were the agriculture in commercial agriculture, then 3,50,000 households, 50,000 jobs in warehouses and like that. So this is the position in Africa, what she was telling us. Then another side event, but it was a youth people were giving the some information and everything like that. And in that, one of the very young boy, myself and Bhuvaneshwari was also present in that particular event. He said that nuclear power can be utilized for non-conventional energy, which was a very new topic for us. And he said that because why I was interested in that, because in Maharashtra, in Konkan, there was a nuclear power station to be erected in Konkan. But there was the opposition, then even in case of, say, leaders, some were saying that, no, it should be there. Some were saying that, no, it should not be there. And because it polluted the ocean and all these things. But still, what is his explanation? That though it was not happen in Konkan, it has went to Nagpur. And there they have already erected this particular project. Now, I said that since we are against of all this nuclear agency and all these things, then why you are insisting for that? Then he said that because of this particular energy, you cannot, it is having a less, what we can say, that is less charging. And it can be used for creating more non-conventional energy. That means non-conventional energy means even in case of say solar, or in case of what we call as this air का इसको क्या बोलते हैं? Air का I don't remember that name. Air में air का fans, air fans. They create the energy, no, from air fans.
Yeah. So that is hydro, not hydro. Sorry, wind power.
So they said that for this particular energies, this nuclear agency can be used to make powerful of those things.
Okay.
That is how they were saying. So we were so that we couldn't understand what is this, but still we could.
Wind energy and wave energy, madam. Waves are also there.
That is what they said. You can use this. So it is necessary for this. So I also found out that there are so many young generation. Then I could find out 3 or 4 organizations from Pune itself. And they were also participating in the side events. And I feel that we should be together here in Maharashtra, in Pune, and there should be one awareness program on this particular topic. And I talked to Kalyani ji, and she said, yes, you can do it. So I will try to do this particular awareness program maybe this month, or maybe first week of the next month, like that. So I really enjoyed going there, and I could really know what is going on there. But really what Bhuvaneshwari said regarding the Usha was the lightning person for us. And she told everything every time. And we were to know how we have to pick up all these things. It's really, thank you very much to Usha, and also to Kalyani, that given the opportunity for us to come there and enjoy the thing. And thank you very much for all of you.
Thank you, Asha ji. Thank you very much for that. And you've clearly explained about that meeting that we attended. It was very interesting, actually. The Global Carbon Council had organized the side event. That was very interesting. You had interacted with them, and it was really nice. They could explain everything to us. Yeah. Next, Vijayalakshmi ji's turn is there, but unfortunately, she had rang up in the morning. She suddenly had to go to Chandigarh, and she will not be able to participate. She said she will write down something and send it to me for reading out, but it has not come. I'm sorry. And but she had told me to tell that this was the first COP meeting that she had attended, and it was quite a learning experience for her. And that is what she had told me to say. So we will miss Vijayalakshmi's intervention and her experience. And she said she will write down and send it across. Now, I almost forgot that I have to share my experience also, listening to everybody. Now, I would like to say some few things. First and foremost, I want to thank the Kalyani ji, Manju ji, and everyone, and the committee of patrons for giving me this chance to participate in this COP28 event. It was a very good learning experience for me, actually. And this was my first COP meeting, and I never expected this to be such a gigantic, big event. And like Upasana ji said, it was like she had Kalyani ji. I already said we had Usha ji to guide. Otherwise, we would have got lost in that crowd. And I can tell you. And about the crowd and the problems that we faced, Usha ji has already told. So I don't want to repeat it here. One thing was Kalyani ji had warned us with a walking shoe, but later on we were saying we should have a skater board to walk around. You know, it would have reached us faster. And there were buggies, but it was never available for us with great difficulty. And due to Asha ji, sometimes we got at the end of almost at the fag end of the week, we got some concession of, evading that queue, and we were allowed to. 3 sari-clad women, walking with great difficulty. We could get an easy way passage. And that was one good thing which happened the 3rd or 4th day onwards. Now, the main activity for us was manning the exhibition stall, which was very interesting. It kept us on our toes, I should say that. We shared it with Infose, and Judith has also done a lot of work because she also attracted a lot of crowd. Her own people had come, so they all visited us. There was no stopping of people coming, VIPs or whoever, all delegations, mainly from a lot of youth had come also. And they were all interested in our AIWC posters and the videos which we were showing. The posters, we could do 3 posters. There were only space for 3 posters. And we tried to fit in the maximum number of projects. 3 sets, like one was the 6 projects that we did under the Safe Veggies, and by different branches, Delhi, in Gujarat and Kerala and all that. And then there were the energy conservation and energy efficiency programs by EESL and EMC. In Kerala, we had taken up some on EMC also. That was the second poster. And then small and micro level initiatives. This related to various cleaning, canal cleaning in J&K, then Himalayan cleaning. Let me try to recollect Himalayan cleaning. And from Kakinada, we got one photograph of beach cleaning, like that. So, and also the Delhi Rithala unit, that waste management, like that. And some students, yes, 2 of Upasanaji's branch, some 2 posters where we were saying that catch them young and train them. So that all those things really attracted the people who came. Government delegations, NGOs, students. There were a lot of youth also coming into. It helped us explaining the work, and then many people especially from Africa, I noticed that they could relate to all these, especially the organic farming. thing. They could relate to the work that they were doing, even the cleaning aspects. They could relate to the work they were doing, and that was a very good interaction that we had. What we did was we converted all the AIWC presentations so far available on climate change issues, that we converted into video. For that also, we had to walk to the computer center. Every time we had to add one, we got one, we added. So that took a lot of our time walking around. Computer center was at the one end of the. Then that also was very interesting and satisfying. Then we had the caucus meeting. We tried to, the first 2 days, I should say, we started off so early, but we were late by 2.5 hours. Took 2.5 hours for us to reach the place. So we missed the first two, only we could see reach the last part of it. Otherwise, we could attend all the caucus meetings. That gave us an opportunity to acquaint with so many like-minded organizations and women who were working so hard. It was really inspiring to talk to them. And here again, Ushaji's familiarity with all of them helped a lot. Then we attended the gender and climate change informal consultation. Of course, one important event, let me tell you, was the award function, which we had co-hosted. There, our Secretary General spoke in the very beginning, and 3 awards were given. One was all those were very interesting 3 awards. We saw the videos, very simple projects. They were from Pakistan, then Bangladesh, and Kenya. These were the 3 transformational, technical, and non-technical awards. So here, that was the journal was released. I had already told earlier that there was one of the articles was from AIWC. And then the side events we attended. Many side events we could not find, so we could not attend, but we could manage few. There was one side event by an organization called LAYA for locally developed choices. I mean, which is for, in terms of nationally declared commitments, NDCs that is called. And that was very interesting. Those local solutions were very interesting to note. And then another one was, I went into a US pavilion for one of the programs, which was gender based, but when I reached, it was over. The next presentation was on indigenous rights and climate finance, which was not as interesting for us, but then I sat through and tried to understand what it was all about. Then Ashaji had already explained the Global Carbon Council meeting for promoting sustainable solutions for climate resilient future. There we discussed the nuclear energy also, and the International Youth Nuclear Congress, that representative spoke, and we had quite good interventions there. And Ashaji also had intervened in this, and we got a very good feedback, a very good interesting things to learn from them. About the positives of the nuclear energy, but there were doubts we expressed about the expensiveness of the nuclear energy. But then they had justifications and they supported them, as is expected. Then after that, we had some, we could visit only very few pavilions, I should say, not as expected. We visited the Indian pavilion, met the economic advisor, Rajeshri Resh, who was one of the delegation members. And then we went into Korean stall, which had very interesting things to were there, and then Singapore delegation pavilion also, which were very near, so that we could see. Then next we went into the green zone. Yeah, the green zone was nearer to our stall. So because we were at the other end, we could go out easily. But we could hardly touch the tip of the iceberg. Just three stalls we could see, 2 or 3 stalls we could see. One was Knowledge Hub. That was very interesting. There were, there were the stalls from number of MNCs like McKinsey, Ernst & Young, and Boston Consulting Group, and all that. They were showcasing what they are doing for climate change. Their work relating to climate change were being showcased there. It was in that we saw the stall of Global Biofuels Alliance. I showed the picture already where the scrolling screen was showing our Prime Minister talking about biofuels. And that was one thing. And we went into 1 or 2 more stalls also. But then there were huge stalls. There were huge stalls. Once you go in, you have to take a lot of time to see. Then in the open, in the green zone, there was an organic farming being done, that which they had created, the UAE had created for this specifically, because we can see how young the plants were. There we saw the millet I told you all about, with grains. They were had it. And then there were, what I found it interesting was there were inscriptions which was saying how it all related to climate change, the carbon reduction, and very useful it was. And we could see a lot of school children also coming to visit. Being green zone, all were allowed to go there. Blue zone, we are not, without the badge we cannot go. It was a very small area, but then it was very interesting for me, especially because I love greens. So then in overall, it was a very good experience in terms of meeting people and interacting. In the stall, I don't know how many people have gone, and Judith had collected. I don't know, I cannot number them. With one full book was over, writing down the names and contact details, which Judith will be sharing with us very soon. And it was a good experience interacting with so many delegates, governmental delegations, NGOs, academia, students, so many people interested in our work, and so many people who were ready to cooperate with us. Let's hope this networking, I'm sure, is the fundamental, thing about COP28, because we are not allowed for the negotiation. And let me tell you, when talking about negotiations, yes, I could attend one of the negotiation. I cannot say negotiations. It was an informal consultation meeting of the Gender and Climate Change group of the subsidiary body for implementation. That was a government delegations only, with observers allowed to. Few seats were available, so I could crash into that and sit in a corner and listen to the. They were finalizing the work program of the Secretariat. This was being discussed. 2 paragraphs were being discussed, and I was reminded of the way in which we used to negotiate in WTO and UNSCAP during my official days. But I was sitting at one end at the back, hearing all this, not in the negotiation table. So that was one thing. And on the whole, a good learning experience. As Upasana ji said, I went into there as a student. Yes, who was going to the first time for the school. Yes, and with Ushaji's help, and it was very good. And all 4 of us, Ushaji, Manjuji, and Ashaji, and Vacha, we had a good time, I should say. However, hard it was, very hard work. I mean, it was quite difficult times, but at the end of the day, we had a satisfaction. We were quite happy. And yes, I hope all this learning will evolve ultimately, and it will be put to use for taking forward AIWC's work. And we'll try some of the things which we had discussed with many people. Interested people will be helpful in drawing up programs and projects. So I hope I think, yes, I have covered most of the things which I wanted to say. And again, I want to thank AIWC and the committee which took the decision to allow us to participate in this meeting. Which was thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, now back to the organizer format. I think now we have, all of us have covered the participation, our experiences, shared our experiences. Now, before I open the floor for our interaction, can we, I would like to request our patrons. Patron, Madam Beena Jain ji is here. I would request her to say a few words. Beena ji, you're here. I'd seen her name right now.
Yeah, but now I think she is not there. I can't see her name.
She was here a little while back.
She was here. She was here. Sheila ji?
Sheila ji was here also.
Yeah, she's here. Yes.
Sheila ji.
Yes, good evening, Bhuneshwari and Usha ji. It was nice listening to all your experiences. Wonderful. I felt as if I've been there. Good sharing thoughts. And it was definitely a very good experience. I cannot open my camera because there are a lot of people in the house. So they are just moving around, though that's why I'm not opening. But I could hear all your speeches or your comments or your experiences, and I enjoyed. And I think many new people, they will definitely learn from this and they would like to go for COP meetings. Okay, thank you very much. I take your leave.
Thank you, Sheila ji. Thank you so much. Thank you for your speech. And Kalyani ji and Manju ji, would you like to talk, say anything before we open the floor?
No, I think the only thing I can sympathize with you guys, because you people had to do a lot of walking and all, because I think you went with all the VIPs. That's right. All the ministers were there at that time. Luckily for us, when we went, in fact, I hurried both of these people. I said, no, we have to go very early for getting our batch and all. We reached there very early. And in fact, we got the badges also within 15-20 minutes, and we were there for the caucus at 8:30 in the morning. The caucus starts at 9, so we were there at 8:30. So anyway, so that part we skipped actually. We didn't have to go through all the hardship. But yes, walking around for every event was too much from one side to another. Another thing in which we were lucky was second week, the buggies were quite easily accessible. So from the entrance to the caucus, at least we could take every day. And same thing while returning, we could use the buggies. So that was good. And one thing which I just thought I will just share about what Asha mentioned about GST, Global Stock Take, which was one of the main item agenda. Actually, the Global Stock Take was the primary agenda for COP28, because after the Paris Agreement, the implementation part had started. And so this COP28 was supposed to be the main global stock take. When you say global stock take, it means what progress has happened in each field. That was the main idea for the global stock take. But one good thing was in this COP, they did a global stock take on separate items, and they also included some new items, like for the youth participation. I think this was the first time youth global stock take was taken, like how many youth are getting involved into the climate change activities and all that. And so that was something new. And one more thing new which happened, I think, in the second week was ministerial conference, informal ministerial conference, which they called Majlis. It's a typical Urdu word, and first time in the history of COP, I think, because it was held in Dubai, they held something, they hosted something called Majlis, and in which they said that ministers or the parties, absolutely away from the negotiations, they have to come and talk what they really feel. And though, because we just had 2 passes for each constituency. So I couldn't attend, but what we got back feedback was that the Majlis was really good because the parties were talking completely different language from what they talk at the negotiation table. So that was quite interesting, which happened in the second week. And also one thing which happened in the second week was, I think, which always happens on the second week is People's Parliament, People Plenary, which is like, a combination of all the constituencies together. They all meet in the plenary hall and everybody talks about, their experience. So we had a lady from Palestine who spoke about, what they are going through. And then we had a lady from Jordan who spoke. So these were all so touching. Like, their sharing of experience was so touchy. And the plenary hall was full from all the type of NGOs, young group, environmental group, trade union, and all the groups. So it was a huge plenary, and it was very, very interesting. And more than anything, I think, I don't know if a Upasana is still there, Vijayalakshmi and Upasana. Vijayalakshmi, of course, was not there. One thing was we were traveling, and then we met a lot of these Bangladeshis, Pakistanis, and Sri Lankans. And we talk always about the women's trouble, and once or twice we took taxi and we found the men living there are also going through so much of hardship. That was one very interesting part. They started, because we were Indians, they started talking with us all their personal problem, and really they are going through so much of hardship. They leave the family behind and then go and work there. So those were all very touching actually for us. And yeah, it was overall very good experience actually. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And can we now open the floor for
Hello.
yeah.
Hello, this is Bhuma.
Bhumaji.
Bhuneshwari, Usha-ji, you have taken us to COP. Really, we have enjoyed everything. Very informative, and the GST is very useful. We have to learn a lot about other states and other countries. Really, it was a very wonderful presentation by both of you. Thank you so much. All of you, Manjuka ji, Kalyani ji, Upasana ji, Usha ji, and everybody, Asha ji, all of you, thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody would like to?
Yes, good evening. Good evening. I'm Kannaki Prabhakaran from WIA.
Okay.
Lady ma'am, it reminded me of that earlier COP we have attended together. So very, very interesting one, and many new topics were arrived, it seems. So we had to work on all these topics. It is a quite interesting one. Thank you for all your wonderful presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Kannaki. Anybody who would like to speak? Or there are a few things in the chat box, but let's those who want to speak after that we can. Anybody else who would like to speak, or shall we go on to the chat box? Usha-ji, there's a lot of things on the chat box.
You can read out from the chat box.
Yeah. Okay. The first one is
Hello?
okay. Who is that?
Hello,
Yeah.
Hemalata from
Hemalata-ji. Hemalata-ji. Tell. Yeah.
I'm very much impressed, and also some of them are doing in our Karnataka also. We had to post them, and we had to show these experiences, a chart to them, and also to make them to do a lot. And you are all very lucky and explained very well with bottom to top. You have taken a lot of trouble to make a credible India. I thank Kalyani ji, Manjuka ji, and Usha ji especially, who is a guide and philosopher for us, and also others, those who have accompanied them. The whole group was very, 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 very much, I don't know how to give a complexity. So I'm very happy to attend this, even though I was having a cold. First, I was not listening. Then I tried and I got everything from Kalyani ji to you. Madam, thanks tips to you all and making India a high stage. Thank you, Madam Hemalata.
Thank you, Hemlata ji. Thank you so much for those nice words. Is there anybody who would like to say something? Shall I go on to the chat?
I don't know if you wish. Kuljit and Lakshmi Bai are unmuted.
Yeah, Kuljit ji.
Hanji, Hanji.
Yeah.
Hello, Bhuvneshwari. I can say that you have put in lots and lots of hard work in preparing the whole presentation. The photographs were beautiful. And as far as Usha is concerned, I don't have the words. She is always in the top of the world. She spoke very well. And that also hatke. She's always hatke. And the information she has given is very practical. And I was reminded of my visit to Morocco. I attended that COP. And it was a very informal meeting during that time because very few people were there. We used to attend all the meetings. And Usha, you remember that you arranged for a program. We took a table, sat in the hall, and we said anybody who wants to say anything is free to say. So there were so many people, those who came and they started sharing their experience. It was a wonderful meet over there. You remember, Usha?
Yes,
Just
yes.
now.
Men from 10 countries telling us their experiences about
Yeah.
it was really touching.
Yes, I think I wrote an article also for Roshni for that. I remember a little bit now because it's long time back and my memory has also gone weak now. But listening to you, listening to all these people, to Kalyani, to Manju, Usha, and Asha ji, and from you, it was really learning experience how the times have changed, how the demands have changed, how the setups and the perceptions have changed. And next time when the COP is there, if I am all right, I think I'll definitely try to come with Usha, Bhuvneshwari and all.
Yes.
With Usha. And I would like to attend it. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Bhuvneshwari, for enlightening all of us with this information. Thank you so much. You organized it so well. And you have put in lots and lots of hard work. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Kuljit ji, I remember that chat, informal chat that you had organized in one of the, because I was reading all that AWC for my 22nd meeting, November 22nd meeting. I was reading all those papers, earlier COP meetings, what all AWC had done. And I had found that there was that informal meetings, where all the delegations were free to come.
It was
chat
called the
room, AWC chat room. Yeah.
And it was really great learning experience for me also, how the people, they shared their experience, those who are living by seaside, what are their problems, how the women, they have become so superpower, and how the men have felt so jealous because of their achievements. So those are very good experiences.
Yeah.
So I'm reminded of all that now.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lakshmi Bai, you wanted to say something, Lakshmi Bai? I think Lakshmi Bai is muted, but she has already put it in the chat box also. I'll read it out now. Usha R. Menon writes, great work, Kalyani ji, madam. Congratulations, AWC team who attended COP Dubai. Really feel proud to be an AWC member. Then Usha ji says, Usha madam, thank you for updating on COP. Very informative. Then Kannagi Prabhakaran madam, very interesting and inspiring session. Thank you all for having shared in a detailed way. Lakshmi Bai says, thank you, Usha Nair, for the very elaborate points discussed. A lot of information with both interesting and new. I was just musing as to why the impact of wars on the climate degradation is not thought about. I feel wars might be a major contributor in polluting the atmosphere. Just as passing remark. To that, of course, Kalyani ji has already responded, saying Lakshmi, militarization is one of the major issues brought up and discussed in COP, especially by NGOs. It's also highlighted the even percentage of what is spent on weapons can be diverted to climate change solutions. Yeah. Now, Usha ji has also written, yeah, yes, Lakshmi, by contribution of the defense sector and WASH plan. Yeah. So that is that's the end of the chat. Now, is there anything left out? I hope I have covered everybody. Just give me 1 minute. My laptop is out of charge. 1 minute, please. Sorry, I did not notice that.
I just wanted to say one word that since because of this laptop and this iPhone and all, we could come together immediately and having the experiences of this. Before, though we were doing so much work before, but we couldn't get a time, or the persons who were there attending, they couldn't get the time. They just say they just used to say in the half yearly or yearly, but it was today's meeting was so nice that we could say immediately whatever the things we have done there and whatever we have experienced it. It's a very nice thing, and really I congratulate Usha and yourself for the arranging all these things. Thank you very much.
Asha ji, you are looking good today. Fresh.
Much.
After Dubai, I
Yes,
think there is some change.
Yeah.
Lots of change.
Okay. But we do
Asha ji was really very active along with us, and she really was a good company there.
No,
and-
Bhuvneshwari, we together have been going for this NSW, no?
Yeah,
CSW.
Asha ji was
We
saying that.
have good experience, both of us. We shared it very well.
Yeah.
It's a very good company. There's no
And
doubt.
she used to speak. I have learned a lot about the socio-economic projects. I'm myself now interested in that. So clubbing climate change with socio-economic programs. That's what we are thinking of doing.
Yes, we are thinking on that line.
That was, these are the things. And so, Asha ji, as you said, it is these webinars are very useful, because if this was held in headquarters, none of us could have participated.
Yes.
And none of the people around, those who are, we had
Yeah.
some 34, 35 people today.
Yes. And what happens, since we can sit in our house and we can attend those things.
Yeah,
this is very interesting thing. And the
Anyway,
people,
but we have missed our evening tea, Bhuvneshwari, because of you.
that is
in between when all of them were having, I closed my video and I had my coffee.
Oh, you are very clever, very clever.
Even though we missed, we are hats off to all our AIWC groups, because they have given a informative experiences.
Thank you, Hemlata.
Which provoke us. Why we have not attended?
Can we wind up, Bhuvneshwari?
Yeah. Let us now. I think I would like to say a few words of thanks for everybody who has attended. Firstly, let me place my on record the thanks to Kalyani ji, who participated and gave us a very good overview of everything. And then Manju Kakji, madam is not there, I believe. Manju Kakji for being there and sharing her experience. Then, of course, Upasana ji, thank you for sharing your experience. That was very nice to hear from you. Asha ji, Usha ji, and then Vijayalakshmi, who could not participate, but she was feeling very bad about that anyways. Then all those who spoke in the intervention and present. Kuljit ji, I will not forget to thank you for being there. And Beena Jain ji, who was there, but she had left. And similarly, Sheila ji has also just left. She spoke also. And and everyone, Bhuma ji, thank you for your comments. Hemlata ji, and and Kannagi ji, who spoke in the intervention. I'm afraid I will leave out somebody, and all the there are very senior members who have participated. Lakshmi Bai, all those who have participated and wrote in the chat box also. Usha ji, Usha R. Menon. There are too many Ushas here. So thank you all for being here and encouraging us and to do the good work, and we'll continue to do the good work. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bhuvneshwari. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Bhuvneshwari,
Thank you,
for
madam.
arranging and putting this together. It was really good. As Asha said, it's a one good thing is through this webinar, we are able to share with all. Otherwise, earlier the practice was always we had it in head office. Always we had the webinar post-COP meeting in head office and we used to share. But really this COVID has done some good thing is connecting us through this webinar. So we are able
Kalyani,
to
I
do.
have learned one important thing. You should always go in the second week.
No, actually,
Yes.
yeah, that's right. We think, but then somebody has to go in the first week. So,
No, actually, Usha and me have attended both the weeks many a time. I think for more than initial years, mostly we attended for both the weeks and we had the best and the worst of both. But Dubai was an unusual place, I think, where logistics really made a lot of created a lot of problems in the first week. In other places, I don't think it has been so bad because the Dubai venue was so big and the logic, there were no proper indication also. So I
Yes.
think all those problems were there in the first week, which I think improved a bit during the second week.
Second
Yeah.
week.
But Kuljit, I will not take you with me if I am going on the second week.
I will definitely come with you. That's my
No, you cannot come with me.
Why?
ऐसे-
Then people will know those shawls will be given to me by the Pakistanis.
Ah,
not to
that's
you.
why.
That's the reason, isn't it?
And now everybody will ask for second week only. First week nobody would. But anyway, I would like to go in the
No,
first.
but actually, second week we also always, more important because normally the gender day is always celebrated in the second week. This is the first time where the COP pattern changed and they made every day a theme day. This is the first COP which has happened. Every day was one particular theme day, and the gender theme, I think, happened in the first week. Otherwise, normally our event will always be in the second week on the gender day. So that was one change in this COP. Yeah. Thank you anyway, Bhuvneshwari.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, all of you. for
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank
you,
madam.
Thank you for this good and excellent webinar.
Thank you, Shaji. Thank you for
Thank you so
all
much.
the guidance and help.
Thank you, ma'am.
Wind up now. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now we will meet in Trivandrum.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.